work. This is the reading session in Kitely, and you can see everybody who's going to read here today, and we're going to start with Shiny, then Eleanor, then April, then Vinay, then Moz. You'll all get the chance to read. Okay, so Shiny, if you're ready, take it away.
After the proper time, and then eat a great deal more dinner than usual, and sit in the hot sun on the top of the church tower, or even anywhere else. You become soon and strangely sleepy. Now Anthea and Jane and Cyril and Robert were very like you in many ways, and when they had eaten all they could and drunk all there was, they became sleepy, strangely and soon, especially Anthea, because she had got up so early. One by one they left off talking and leaned back, and before it was a quarter of an hour after dinner they had all curled round and tucked themselves up under their large, soft, warm wings, and were fast asleep, and the sun was sinking slowly in the west. I must say it was the west, because it is usual in books to say so, for fear careless people should think it was setting in the east. In point of fact, it was not exactly in the west either, but that's near enough. The sun, I repeat, was sinking slowly in the west, and the chicken slept warmly and happily on, for wings are closer than eider down quilts to sleep under, The shadow of the church tower fell across the churchyard, and across the vicarage, and across the field beyond. And presently there were no more shadows, and the sun had set, and the winds were gone, and still the children slept. But not for long. Twilight is very beautiful, but it is chilly, and you know, however sleepy you are, you wake up soon enough if your brother or sister happens to be up first and pulls your blankets off you. The four wingless children shivered and woke, and there they were, on the top of a church tower in the dusky twilight, with blue stars coming out by ones and twos and tens and twenties over their heads, miles away from home, with 3 and 3 halfpence in their pockets, and a doubtful act about the necessities of life to be accounted for if anyone found them with the soda water siphon.
Well done.
They looked at...
Okay, so bear with me 1 second, just one word, and you get a smiley as well. Okay, so first of all, the word party. Party.
Party.
Yeah, what you're saying is party, but it's not that. The beginning isn't party, it's party.
Party.
That's better, yeah. So you've got to get the t, but you've also got to have the r, but not too long. Party. Unless you're going, party. Normally we'd go, party, 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 party. Okay. And then the name of one of the children is Anthea. Anthea.
Anthea.
That's it. Yeah, we've got feedback on our speakers actually here, Shiny. Are you using a headset, Shiny?
No.
Try to use a headset, because otherwise we'll get this feedback. Okay. Anyway, the next one, again, it's the stress. Your pronunciation's fine, but the stress is a bit off. Children.
Children.
That's better. That's better. Then again, stress. Twilight.
Twilight.
Yay, very good. And the last one, it's a siphon.
Siphon.
Yay. Good. Soda siphon. You wouldn't have one in the house anymore, but you might find one in a pub. If you ask for cordial with soda, they have these soda siphons. They're like bottles, but with pressurized water in them. And then you get a smiley for wigs and wings. It was wings. You're quite correct. Wing. That sound. Wig, of course, is if you have no hair, you might wear a wig on your head. Like judges, yes. Like judges, remember, has got a G in. Judges. Judges wear wigs as well. Absolutely. Okay, any questions?
Who knows, but I did a test, Shiny, and it turned out that I am more intelligent than Mr. Trump, and I'm very proud of myself, really. The test was in French. I put the results on Facebook.
Okay, I don't want to talk about him. Please.
Oh, yes, sorry. Oh, sorry, it's my fault. Oh, sorry.
No, I refuse. I'm not going to start my Monday by talking about him. Okay, no other questions apart from about him. Everybody clear? Okay, welcome to Bunvesh. I hope you can hear us. Bunvesh, did you want to read today? Or did you just want to listen? Oh, okay, you are typing, so I guess you just want to listen. Hello, Buff. Okay, I did think you might be, but I can only go by what I see in front of me. Bhuvnesh is what I see as your name. But Buff, hello. Okay, so I'll let Buff decide whether. Yeah, okay. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but wow, you've managed more than many people. You can hear me, you're in world, and you've learnt how to sit. So, hey, that's more than most people learn in the first hour or two. Well done. Okay, so Eleanor, you're on my reading list next.
Okay.
So I'll just put the link up again. We're reading from this book, Buff, and we're on page 139, well, 140 now. Okay. Okay, so Eleanor, whenever you are ready.
I'm ready. I'm always ready. They looked at each other. Cyril spoke first, picking up the siphon. We'd better get along down and get rid of this beastly thing. It's dark enough to leave it on the clergyman's doorstep, I should think. Come on. There was a little turret at the corner of the tower, and the little turret had a door in it. They had noticed this when they were eating, but had not explored it, as you would have done in their place. Because, of course, when you have wings and can explore the whole sky, those seem hardly worth exploring. Now they turned towards it. Of course, said Cyril, this is the way down. It was. But the door was locked on the inside. And the world was growing darker and darker, and they were miles from home, and there was the soda water siphon. I shall not tell you whether anyone cried, nor if so, how many cried, nor who cried. You will be better employed in making up your minds what you would have done if you had been in their place. Chapter 5. No Wings. Whether anyone cried or not, there was certainly an interval during which none of the party was quiet itself. When they grew calmer, Anthea put her handkerchief in her pocket and her arm round Jane and said, "It can't be for more than one night. We can signal with our handkerchiefs in the morning. They'll be dry then, and someone will come up and let us out." "And find the siphon," said Cyril gloomily, "and we shall be sent to prison for stealing." "You said it wasn't stealing. You said you were sure it wasn't." "I'm not sure now," said Cyril shortly. "Let's throw the thing away among the trees," said Robert. "Then no one can do anything to us." "Oh yes," Cyril's laugh was not a light-hearted one, "and hit some chap on the head and be murderers as well as the other thing." "But we can't stay up here all night," said Jane. "I want my tea." "You can't want your tea," said Robert. "You've only just had your dinner." "But I do want it," she said, "especially when you begin talking about stopping up here all night. Oh, Panther, I want to go home. I want to go home." "Hush, hush," Anthea said. "Don't, dear. It'll be all right somehow. Don't." Let her cry, said Robert desperately. If she howls loud enough, someone may hear and come and let us out. And see the soda water thing, said Auntie swiftly. Robert, don't be a brute. Or Jane, do try to be a man. It's just the same for all of us. Jane did try to be a man and reduce her howls to sniffs. There was a pause. Then Ceres said slowly, Look here, we must risk that siphon. I'll button it up inside my jacket. Perhaps no one will notice it. You others keep well in front of me. There are lights in the clergyman's house. They've not gone to bed yet. We must just yell as loud as ever we can. Now all scream when I say 3. Robert, you do the yell like a railway engine, and I do the cooey like fathers. The girls can do as they please. 1, 2, 3. A fourfold yell, then the silent peace of the evening, and a maid at one of the vicarage windows paused with her hand on the blind cord. 1, 2, 3. Another yell, piercing and complex, startled the owls and starlings to a flutter of feathers in the belfry below. The maid flew from the vicarage window and ran down the vicarage stairs and into the vicarage kitchen, and fainted as soon as she had explained to the manservant and the cook's cousin that she had seen a ghost. It was quite untrue, of course, but I suppose the girls' nerves were a little upset by the yelling.
Very good. Well done.
Okay.
Okay. So, nicely read, and gosh, just a great big smiley. No corrections. Have you been practicing? Awesome. Well done. Yeah, I know. It doesn't happen often, does it? But yeah, I don't know what to give you for that. I guess.
But you know, just ask April. But she is good at. So the
yes,
child
true.
will be
April,
ever soon.
am I correct? That's very true. April sometimes catches things. Good. Yeah, let Eleanor have her. By the way, you can't say I'll shut up because you weren't speaking. You can only shut up if you're already speaking. I think what you could say is I'll say nothing. So nicely read. Well done. Indeed, well done. Which leads us, of course, to April. So please don't shut up, April. Are there any questions first about the text? Anything you're not sure of?
What is blind cord, Lynn?
Oh, the blind cord. Do you know what blinds are?
Yeah, for the window, eh?
That's right, yeah. Instead of curtains. And the cord is the thing that moves them up and down, that keeps them open and shut. Okay?
Ah, just that.
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes English is easy, you know. So simple. Yeah, absolutely. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, then April, whenever you are ready, if you'd like to start reading.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. The vicar was on his doorstep by this time, and there was no mistaking the yell that greeted him. Goodness me, he said to his wife. My dear, someone's being murdered in the church. Give me my hat and a thick stick, and tell Andrew to come after me. I expect it's the lunatic who stole the tongue. The children had seen the flash of light when the vicar opened his front door. They had seen his dark form on his doorstep. They had seen his dark form on his doorstep, and they had paused her breath and also to see what he would do. For breath, I think. When he turned back for his hat, Cyril said hastily, "He thinks he only fancied he heard something. You don't half yell. Now, 1, 2, 3!" It was certainly a whole yell this time, and the vicar's wife flung her arms round her husband and screamed a feeble echo of it. "You shan't go," she said. "Not alone. Jessie!" The maid unfainted and came out of the kitchen. "Send Andrew at once. There's a dangerous lunatic in the church, and he must go immediately and catch him." "I expect he will catch it too," said Jessie to herself as she went through the kitchen door. "Here, Andrew," she said, "there's someone screaming like mad in the church, and the missus says you're to go along and catch it." "Not alone, I don't," said Andrew in low, firm tones. To his master he merely said, "Yes, sir." "You heard those screams?" "I did think I noticed a sort of something," said Andrew. "Well, come on then," said the vicar. "My dear, I must go." He pushed her gently into the sitting-room, banged the door, and rushed out, dragging Andrew by the arm.
Okay, just a quickie, April, because it crops up quite a bit in this text. It's not vicar, it's vicar, okay?
Oh, it's vicar.
Yeah. Just so you know, okay?
Okay. He pushed her gently into the sitting room, banged the door, and rushed out, dragging Andrew by the arm. A volley of yells greeted them. Then, as it died into silence, Andrew shouted, "Hello, you there! Did you call?" "Yes," shouted 4 faraway voices. "They seem to be in the air," said the vicar. "Very remarkable." "Where are you?" shouted Andrew, and Cyril replied in his deepest voice, very slow and loud, "Church! Tower! Top!" "Come down then," said Andrew, and the same voice replied, "Can't! Door locked." "My goodness," said the vicar. "Andrew, fetch the stable lantern. Perhaps it would be as well to fetch another man from the village. With the rest of the gang about, very likely. No, sir. If this here ain't a trap, well, may I never. There is Cook's cousin at the back door now. He's a keeper, sir, and used to dealing with vicious characters. And he's got his gun, sir." "Hello there!" shouted Cyril from the church tower. "Come up and let us out." "We are a-coming," said Andrew. "I'm a-going to get a policeman and a gun." Andrew," said the vicar, "that's not the truth." "It's near enough, sir, for the likes of them." So Andrew fetched the lantern and the cook's cousin, and the vicar's wife begged them all to be very careful. They went across the churchyard. It was quite dark now, and as they went, they talked. The vicar was certain a lunatic was on the church tower, the one who had written the mad letter and taken the cold tongue and things. Andrew thought it was a trap. The cook's cousin alone was calm. "Great cry! Little wool," said he. "Dangerous chaps is quieter." He was not at all afraid, but then he had a gun. That was why he was asked to lead the way up the worn, steep, dark steps of the church tower. He did lead the way with the lantern in one hand and the gun in the other. Andrew went next. He pretended afterwards that this was because he was braver than his master, but really it was because he thought of traps, and he did not like the idea of being behind the others for fear someone should come softly up behind him and catch hold of his legs in the dark. They went on, and round the little corkscrew staircase, then through the bell ringer's loft, where the bell ropes hung with soft furry ends like giant caterpillars, then up another stair into the belfry, where the big quiet bells are, and then on up a ladder with broad steps, and then up a little stone stair. And at the top of that there was a little door, and the door was bolted on the stair side.
Well done. Good. Well done.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay. So let's have a look at the individual words first. Okay. Okay. So the first word I corrected already because it was in the text so often. I thought, oh no. Let's nip that one in the bud now. So, vicar, okay?
Yeah, sorry, vicar.
That's it. And then you did correct this yourself a little bit later, but it was too late by then. Breath.
Breath, yeah.
That's it.
I
We
was not
breathe
sure.
until we breathe our last breath. If you need to remember that one, okay, you can remember that. We breathe until we breathe our last breath. Okay. And then hastily. You're still doing that ha. It's haste. Less haste, more speed. Yeah? Less haste, more speed. And hastily comes from haste or hasten. So hastily. Try it.
Hastily.
Hastily, that's it. And then this next one, it's really characters. Yeah. So you've got the characters. Okay. So you've got two schwas. Characters. Try it. Characters.
Characters.
Yeah, not carrot. Characters.
Characters.
That's it.
Characters.
Good. Yeah. Okay, and then staircase with the long A. Staircase.
Staircase. Staircase.
That's it. As one word, staircase.
Staircase.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we say stairs, the stairs. So, for example, in my house, it's a small house. I've just got stairs. But if you're in a bigger, grander house, or if you're in somewhere with something quite remarkable, it's a feature. It's more of a feature, a staircase, really. Okay.
Features.
Yeah, it's basically stairs that are part of the structure, if you like. Okay, they're more surrounded, a staircase. A slightly different feature of a house than the stairs. Yeah, if you were in my house, I'd say go up the stairs. If you were in, what did Eleanor mention later? Oh, Northanger Abbey, they have staircases. Something grander, and churches. This is a now what do you call them? The ones that go round and round. I hate them. The keystone staircases where you go round and round and round and up and up and up. It makes you dizzy. Then that's what we call a staircase. Yeah.
The spiral one, no?
Yeah, spiral stairs. That's it. Spiral. That's the one. Spiral staircase. Okay. And then the next one is just about intonation. Okay, if you note, and you wouldn't have noticed this until the end of the sentence, he says it in low, firm tones. Okay, so it means he's trying to sound manly and he's trying to sound firm. So he's saying it very clearly, quite slowly, and with absolute certainty. So he'd say it along this term, sort of this way, difficult for us ladies, but not alone, I don't, said Andrew in low, firm tones. Okay, try it. Something like that.
Not alone, I don't. Not alone, I don't.
That's it, yeah. Much better, yeah. So don't forget, when you're reading, if you suddenly realise, oh, you know, I meant to say that slightly differently, just go back, reread it. We're not in a hurry, okay? And then here we've got this wonderful word, unfainted. Now it's not real, you can't really unfaint. It's a play on words, so they're just being playful with the word, okay? So what would you say?
I think it's an achievement for a lady to be unfainted. Am I right?
Well, it's an impossibility because you faint and that's it. You have fainted. So you can't then unfaint. Okay? Because when you faint, you lose consciousness. Okay? Any ideas? What do you do when you... Have any of you ever fainted before?
No.
Only once. It was a very stifling in a tram, but only once for a short while. Yeah, it's not very agreeable, I would say, not at all.
It's not.
But
It's horrible.
yeah. Can you say you come to yourself, for example?
You're getting there. You can come. We don't say to yourself. You can say you can come round. To come round.
Okay.
She came round. Yeah, exactly, Mars. If you straight at the top of a mountain or at the top of a tall building and you look over, then you might feel faint. You can also feel faint, as in you feel dizzy and you think, oh, I don't like it, yeah? But if you actually faint, you lose consciousness. So when you come round, yeah, you regain consciousness. To regain consciousness. Okay. Oh, I can't spell. Here you are, to regain consciousness. But of course it would sound, you know, she regained consciousness would sound a little bit pompous in this context. It's a children's book, remember. So she's put this word in, she unfainted. I just wanted to make you clear, you don't unfaint. Yeah. Okay. New word for you. Good. Well, that's why you're here, Muzz. You're here to collect new words. And then you get a smiley for lead, not lead. Lead is the material, the metal, and to lead is the verb. Okay? Any questions before we move on?
No questions, thanks.
Okay.
I got it.
I might write some words up for fainting in the forum. Don't forget, you can check all your corrections here on the forum. Okay, so I might read some. I might write some words for faint because it's quite a complicated little word. Okay, and it has more than one meaning, faint. So have a check of the forum for that. So, Vinay, you are next. Can I hear you? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, nice and clearly. Awesome. Okay, so Vinay, as soon as you're ready, if you would like to start reading.
Okay, I'm ready. The cook's cousin, who was a gamekeeper, kicked at the door and said, "Hello, you there?" The children were holding on to each other on the other side of the door and trembling with anxiousness and very fast with their holes. They could hardly speak, but Cyril managed to reply huskily, "Hello, you there? How did you get up there?" It was no use saying we flew up. So Cyril said, "We flew up, and then we found the door was locked and we could get down. Let us out too." "How many of you are there?" asked the keeper. "Only 4," said Cyril. "I am warm. I will what? I have got my gun handy, so you would best not try any tricks," said the keeper. "If we open the door, will you promise to come quietly down and no nonsense?" "Yes, oh yes," said all the children together. "Bless me," said the vicar. Surely that was a female voice. "Shall I open the door, sir?" said the keeper. Andrew went down a few steps to leave room for others. He said afterwards, "Yes," said the vicar. "Open the door, remember," he said through the keyhole. "We have come to release you. You will keep your promise to refrain from violence." "How this boat do stick," said the keeper. "Anyone you think it had been drawed for half a year?" As a matter of fact, it hadn't. When all the bolts were drawn, the keeper spoke digested words through the keyhole. "I don't open," said he. "Still you have gone over to the other side of the tower, and if one of you comes at me, I fire. Now, we are all over on the other side," said the voices. The keeper felt pleased with himself and owned himself a bold man. When he flew open the door and stepping out into the leads, flashed the full light of the stable lantern on the group of desperadoes standing against the parapet on the other side of the tower. He lowered his gun and he nearly dropped the lantern. "So help me," he cried. If they ain't a pack of kiddies," the vicar now advanced. "How did you come here?" he asked severely. "Tell me at once." "Oh, take us down," said Jen, catching at his coat, "and we shall tell you anything you like. You won't believe us, but it doesn't matter. Oh, take us down." The others crowded round him with the same entreaty, all but Cyril. He had enough to do with the soda water siphon, which would keep slipping down under his jacket. I needed both hands to keep it steady in its place. But he said, standing as far out of the lantern light as possible, "Please do take us down." So they were taken down. It is no joke to go down a strange church tower in the dark, but the keeper helped them only. Cyril had to be independent because of the water siphon. It would keep them together. How down the ladder it all was kept. Cyril just caught it by its spout, and as nearly as possible lost his footing. He was trembling and pale when at last they reached the bottom of the landing stage and stepped out onto the stones of the church porch. Then suddenly the keeper caught Cyril and Robert each by an arm. "You bring along the jail, sir," said he. Andrew, you and Andrew can manage them." "Let go," said Cyril. "We aren't running away. We haven't hurt your old church. Leave go." "You just come along," said the keeper, and Cyril dared not oppose him with violence, because just then the siphon began to slip again. So they were marched into the vicarage study, and the vicar's wife came rushing in. "Oh, William, are you safe?" she cried. Robert hastened to allay her anxiety. "Yes," he said, "he's quite safe. We haven't hurt them at all. And please, we are very late, and they shall be anxious at home. Could you send us home in your carriage? Or perhaps there is a hotel near where where we could get a carriage, said Anthea. Martha will be very anxious as it is. The vicar had sunk into a chair, overcome by emotion and amazement. Cyril had also sat down and was leaning forward with his elbows on his knees because of the soda water siphon.
Very good. Well
But
done.
how did you...
Yep, okay. I know, once you start, you can just carry on forever. Excellent, well done. Nicely read, nicely read. A couple of corrections, but that's why you're here. So let's have a look at the individual words to start with. The first one is cousin, not cousin, cousin.
Okay, cousin.
Cousin. Okay, welcome to the world
Cousin.
of, welcome to the world of the schwa. So even though it's an I, okay, it takes this schwa sound, this un sound, okay, cousin. Sometimes it's almost swallowed, okay, cousin, but it's an un at the end, okay, cousin. Try it.
Cousin.
That's it. Good. Yeah. Good. Well done. The schwa takes every vowel. Every vowel, A, E, I, O and U, can be pronounced with this sound, okay? And it's one of the most common sounds in English. So when you see that little drunken E, this little backward E, you'll know it's okay? That is pronounced okay? So the next one, to be anxious, to show anxiousness.
Anxiousness.
Yeah, good. Anxiousness. And then the next one is a soft S, not release, it's release. Release.
Release.
That's it. And if you need to practice that for a karaoke session, we're having one this week. There's a lovely song called Please Release Me, Let Me Go. Please release me, let me go. You'll find it on, I'm sure. Oh yeah, here you go. It's Engelbert Humperdinck. I apologise, but you've got to try this one. It's a great song. It's a real classic. Yeah, that's the one, April. Okay, so the next one is this time it's unfortunate, but as I said, lead is the metal, and often church roofs, or church roofs as I still prefer to say, church roofs in the UK, they're actually covered in lead. Okay, so when they walk out onto the roof, they're walking out onto the leads, okay?
Leads.
That's it, yeah. Then the next one, violence.
Violence.
Yeah, you're saying were. Are you German? Actually, Germans tend to say fur. So it's not were, it's v. You've got to get vibration between your top teeth and your bottom lip. V. Vroom, vroom, like a car goes. Violence. Try it.
Violence.
Okay, you need to practice it. Okay, so what you need to do, because your name is Vinay in English, I'd say Vinay. How do you pronounce your name?
Same, Vinay.
Okay, you get that V from your name, Vinay, and put it on violence.
Yeah, it starts with V, not V. I pronounce it V.
Yes, with a V. V. Try it again once more. Violence.
Violence.
Getting there. You need to practice it a bit, okay? Because it's a very common mistake in a lot of languages. People pronounce the V as a W. W has the W sound, and V has the V sound. Okay? Okay. Then the next one is that same word, I think it was April had, hasten, to make haste, to hurry up, haste. So hastened.
Hastened.
That's it. Now the next one is just about the stress. He wasn't asking how many of you are there, as in the opposite to here. Okay. He's asking how many people. So he's asking how many of you are there. So not how many of you are there. It's how many of you are there. Can you hear the difference?
How many of you are there?
Yeah, how many of you are there? Okay, so it's how many of you are there? It's sort of how many of you am I talking to, rather than how many of you are there. If you stress the there, it's like the not here. So we would say it differently. So how many people were there? That would be how many people were at that place. How many people were there? How many people were attending? Okay. So for example, in this session, yeah, how many people are there? Because how many people are in this session? How many people are there would make no sense because we're all in different places. Okay, so he's not asking how many people are in that place, he's asking how many. That's it. So it goes, how many of you are there? Try it again.
Okay.
Yeah, just try it once more.
How many of you are there?
Yeah, but you're getting there. You're getting there. Okay, nicely read. So, any questions? Anybody? No? Okay. Then I think Bov has had to go. I'll have to warn Bov that these sessions sometimes run on longer than we put on the calendar. Calendars are only for guidance, they're not the be-all and end-all. Which leads us to Moz. Moz, are you ready to read?
Hello, Lynn, can you hear me?
Yay!
Okay.
Yes, excellent. Actually, I've just noticed you look exactly the same as Vinay. You got the same clothes, the same hair, the same everything.
Okay, Lynn.
Okay, so whenever
okay.
you're ready, then Moz.
Okay. But how did you come to be locked up in the church tower? Asked the vicar. We went up, said Robert slowly, and we were tired, and we all went to sleep. And when we woke up, we found the door was locked. So we yelled. I should think you did, said the vicar's wife, frightening everybody out of their wits like this. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. We are, said Jane gently. But who locked the door? Asked the vicar. I don't know at all, said Robert with perfect truth. Do please send us home. Well, really, said the vicar, I suppose we'd better. Andrew, put the horse too, and you can take them home. Not alone, I don't, said Andrew to himself. And the vicar went on, let this be a lesson to you. He went on talking, and the children listened miserably, but the keeper was not listening. He was looking at the unfortunate Cyril. He knew all about poachers, of course, so he knew how people look when they're hiding something. The vicar had just got to the part about trying to grow up to be a blessing to your parents, and not a trouble and disgrace, when the keeper suddenly said, asked him what he's got there under his jacket. And Cyril knew that concealment was at end. So he stood up and squared his shoulders and tried to look noble like the boys in books that no one can look in the face of and doubt that they come of brave and noble families. And will be faithful to the death. And he pulled out the siphon and said, "Well, there you are then." There was silence. Cyril went on. There was nothing else for it. Uh, yes, we took this out of your larder, and some chicken, and tongue, and bread. We were very hungry, and we didn't take the custard or jam. We only took bread and meat and water, and we couldn't help its being so the kind, just the necessaries of life, and we left half a crown to pay for it, and we left a letter, and we're very sorry, and my father will pay a fine and anything you like, but don't send us to prison. Mother would be so vexed. You know what you said about not being a disgrace. Well, don't you go and do it to us. That's all. We're as sorry as we can be. There. However, did you get up to the larder window? Said Mrs. Vicar. I can tell you that, said Cyril firmly. Is this whole truth you've been telling me? Asked the clergyman. No, answered Jane suddenly. It's all true, but it's not the whole truth. We can tell you that. It's no good asking. Oh, do forgive us and take us home. She ran to the vicar's wife and threw her arms round her. The vicar's wife put her arms round Jane, and the keeper whispered behind his hand to the vicar. They're all right, sir. I expect it's a pal there standing by. Someone put them to it, and they won't pitch. Game little kids. Tell me, said the vicar kindly. Are you screening someone else? Had anyone else anything to do with this? Yes, said Anthea, thinking of the Siamid, but it wasn't their fault. Very well, my dears, said the vicar. Then let's say no more about it. Only just tell us why you wrote such an odd letter. I don't know, said Cyril. You see, Anthea wrote it in such a hurry, and it really didn't seem like stealing then. But afterwards, when we found we couldn't get down off Church Tower, it seemed just exactly like it. We are all very sorry. Say no more about it, said the vicar's wife. But another time, just to think before you take people's tongues. Now some cake and milk before you go home. When Andrew came up to say that the horse was put up to, and was he expected to be led alone into the trap that he had plainly seen from the first, he found the children eating cake and drinking milk and laughing at the vicar's jokes. Jane was sitting on the vicar's wife's lap. So you see they got off better than they deserved. The gamekeeper, who was the cook's cousin, asked leave to drive home with them, and Andrew was only too glad to have someone to protect him from that trap he was so certain of. When he wagonette reached their own house, between the chalk quarry and the gravel pit, the children were very sleepy, but they felt that they and the keeper were friends for life. Andrew dumped the children down at the iron gate without a word. You get along home, said the vicarage cook's cousin, who was a gamekeeper. I'll get me home on Shank's mare. So Andrew had to drive off alone, which he did not like at all, and it was the keeper was cousin to the vicarage cook, who went with the children to the cook to the door, and when they had been swept to bed in a whirlwind of reproaches, remained to explain to Martha and the cook and the housemaid exactly what had happened. He explained so well that Martha was quite amicable the next morning. After that, he often used to come over and see Martha, and in the end, but that is another story, as dear Mr. Kipling says, Martha was obliged to stick to what she said, that the night before about keeping the children indoors the next day for the punishment, but she wasn't at all angry about it, and agreed to let Robert go out for half an hour to get something he particularly wanted. This, of course, was the day's wish. Robert rushed to the gravel pit, found the summit, and recently wished for. But that, too, is another story.
Very good, well done. So I let it run on a bit because we were so close to the end. So it's always nice to end on a new chapter. So I'll put that into today's reading. So we're at chapter 6 next week. So much easier to tell people where to start from. Nicely read. Only a couple of individual words. Let's start with those. Okay. And very much towards the end, I think you were probably getting a bit tired, thinking, when's this going to end? Okay, so the first one is to oblige somebody. So it's obliged, yes. Try it.
Obliged.
Obliged. Yeah. So.
Oh.
And then the next one, although we have a grave, which was a long A sound, you're buried in a grave, the little stones that you find sometimes on people's driveways and on beaches is gravel. Gravel.
Gravel.
That's it. Yeah, good. Okay. Then this one is just about intonation again. Okay, it's just a sentence. And this is how you say it. When you're sort of giving somebody a warning, so think before you act. So what they're saying is think before you take other people's tongues. Now that other people's tongues is a little difficult. So it's other people, but then it's the possessive, other people's tongues. And of course here tongue is a meat. Okay, it is pressed tongue. Was very popular back then. I don't think many people eat it anymore in the UK, but pressed tongue, which comes from beef or from I think it comes from beef. You could buy them and cook it. Horrible, but anyhow, that's how people ate. So try saying it. Think before you take other people's tongues.
Okay. Think before you take other people's tongues.
That's it. Yeah, it's a bit like a tongue twister, isn't it? Tongue twister. Okay, I just want to check everybody understands this phrase. I'm not sure if Eleanor managed to get this into her list of confusing words and difficult words. They won't peach. What does it mean? They won't peach. Any ideas? I mean, you all probably know that peach is a fruit.
Yes.
But it's not what it means in this context. So we got a peach here. Sorry, who said that?
To betray?
Yes, to inform on somebody. So it's nothing to do with the peach, the fruit, that we got on the table there. It's to do with to peach on somebody, to inform on them. Okay? They won't tell on them. They won't inform on them. Okay? And then the other bit, I just again want to check that everybody understands in context. He says, I'll get me home on Shanks's mare. Now, usually now we talk about Shanks's pony in this context. Anybody know what I would mean if I said I'm going home on Shanks's pony?
I think it's a cut meat from Mama, or
Nope.
I think
A shank can be meat,
Oh.
but Shanks's pony, no. I'm going home on Shanks's pony. It means I'm walking. Shanks's pony is your own legs. Okay, so yeah, Shiny, I know. I mean, you really have to know this for it to make any sense. Now, we still use the term Shanks's pony, especially up north. Okay, how did you get home, Shanks's pony? I walked. Okay, so when he says, I'll get me home on Shanks's mare, he means I will walk home. You take the carriage, I'll walk home. Okay? Any questions before we finish then?
Lynn, I'm curious about the tongue. But I think before you take other people's tongue, the tongue is from the animal, right?
Yep.
I was thinking about
Not
about
your own tongue, no.
what like I was thinking of what looks like
Stealing somebody's tongue.
Yes, about the tongue from animal. I want to see it. I was curious.
Yeah, I mean, we have got sayings like bite your tongue, yeah? Bite your tongue, which means shut up. But in this context, remember, when they were in the church, if you look earlier in the chapter, in the church, they took some cold meat. And in this context, tongue it's pressed tongue. In all honesty, I can't stand it myself. And that's one of the times I actually fainted. But it is still eaten in some places. Ox tongue, okay? And you can prepare and cook one. Oh no, I can't share that with you. It's a video. Oh, okay. So, okay, here you are. Pressed tongue. It is literally the tongue out of an ox or cattle, and it's pressed and cooked and then sliced into sandwiches. So if you ever go to an old-fashioned cafe or restaurant and it has tongue sandwiches, that's exactly what you're eating. Ox tongue. Yuck. Okay.
And what is square his shoulders, Lynn? Is it that you really straight your shoulder?
Yes, absolutely.
Like the children in the class, like that.
Well, if you square your shoulders, it's almost like you stand up straight and you try to look manly or to look confident. You square your shoulders. Yeah, it's like putting your chest out. Okay. Moz, this bit is where they were in the larder, which is like a pantry, like where things were stored before we had fridges. Okay. And then he said, saw lots of things to eat inside: custard pudding and cold chicken and tongue. Yeah, so here it's like a cold cut of meat. Okay. And to square your shoulders literally means to stand to attention, and it can be to try and make yourself look more confident. Okay, April? No, not delicious at all, Moz, honestly. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It used to be served to me at school and in sandwiches at my granny's farm, and bleh. It really uses tongue, yes, Shiny. Yeah. You don't, honestly, you know, we were talking about fainting before. I was in a supermarket one day, and for some reason, I don't know why, but they had a whole row of them ready to be taken home and cooked. And they were just sat there. And remember, I used to be a vegetarian, and I'm still very sensitive about eating meat. And I just passed out. I fainted. Boof. Flat out on the floor. Very embarrassing. But yeah, horrible idea, horrible thing. Puts you off eating meat, personally. But there you go. Anyway. Some people think of it as a delicacy. I just think of it as being... ew. Any questions then? I will have to go because I've got so much to do still. I've got a pile of washing, 3 weeks of washing basically. Okay, everybody happy?
Okay, thank you. No
You're
German
welcome.
lesson today?
Sorry, April?
No German lesson?
I haven't
German
booked anything
lesson?
yet. No, I've got to go on, and thank you for the reminder. Yes. I've got my final test this month as well, so I have got to get back into it. And the stupidest thing being in England, so like 3 weeks before a German exam. I didn't get to speak German once. In fact, when we got home and I switched on the radio, I was like, oh my God, I don't understand a word. Like, you're happy, Shiny, good, I'm glad. It was nice to be back anyway, and I really wanted to run the sessions actually for the book, because I'm enjoying this book. I hope you are too. Anyway, take care, and I will see you in the next session. If there's anything you need, let me know on the forum, but I think I've caught up with all my correspondence on the forum at least, so if you're waiting for anything, let me know, because I think I've caught up. So you're welcome. Thank you, Shiny. Take care. Bye.